Hi everyone, how are you? This is Jen Waine, and this is an intimate astrology report for the week of April 9th, 2020. So I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about integrating this Libra full moon that just came through. We've had a Mars-Uranus square. There's a lot of juice right now with the Scorpio moon and Jupiter-Pluto. And I also have an animal totem to talk to you about this week. This week's animal totem is fox. So before we begin, just a quick thank you to all of you tuning in either live or on the replay. I really appreciate it. And it's really been a really beautiful week in terms of bringing astrology out into our communities. I facilitated 2 ceremonies on the Libra full moon, which was 2 days ago. That was on Tuesday. Today's Thursday. We did a sanctuary practice, and if you're ever interested in how you can embody the sky, working with the luminaries, working with the sun, working with the moon, through yoga astrology, through meditation, having a spiritual anchor to start your day every single morning, we do the live call at 8 a.m. We made it a little bit later now that our society has shifted, and it feels really good. So it's from 8 a.m. to 8:30 Eastern, and you can either practice with us live or with the recording. And you can always drop in, and if you're interested, holler, because I would love to get you involved in Sanctuary. And then Tuesday night, we did a Zoom Women's Circle full moon gathering, and that was really beautiful. And we had women from all over the world, including Adriana Alfonso, who's a colleague of mine located in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And it was super magical to have her on the call. So there are blessings, we're doing things differently. We're pivoting. I was so loving getting together with women in person, and that will happen again. But in the meantime, just pausing and for me, just savoring the good bits that are coming through. I noticed that I'm taking longer walks and I'm outdoors more, and it's an amazing time of the year to be outdoors, just seeing all of the flower petals on the ground. Yesterday was so warm, wearing a tank top and feeling seduced by the warm air on my skin. Oh, it was gorgeous. It's very Scorpio moon, and we'll get more into Scorpio soon. So just wanted to say gratitude for all of those blessings, and I hope that you're experiencing blessings too, and sending those out, rippling out what I'm experiencing to those who need some grounding and some extra love and comfort right now. So I want to begin because I have quite a bit to cover. I've got 3 pages of notes. So I'm going to begin with some Libra moon integration about right relationship. I'm going to move into some Mars-Uranus thoughts about our bodies fielding a lot of energy. Going to go into sexual renewal that has to do with the Scorpio moon and Jupiter-Pluto. And then I want to finish with the animal totem of fox, which is really powerful. So I've got 3 pages of notes in my journal, and I'm going to refer to them quite a bit because I want to be as clear and precise as possible. And so starting with this Libra full moon that we just had 2 days ago, we're in Aries season, and Aries is very much about separating and taking action and individuating and courage and conflict and facing your fears. And, it's super needed energy right now, right? But it's really been a balm to have Libra energy come in, the energy of Venus, which is about sweetness and connection and bridging people together. And so these are some themes that have come through working with the Aries-Libra axis. Learning to honor self, learning to accommodate others in appropriate ways, such as social distancing. Moving into rightful relationship. So changing the way that we do relationship with self and with others. Breaking out of codependent patterns. Learning to value the earth, to consume differently, to consume less, to consume with more awareness, to purchase and support from local vendors and farmers. So again, this idea that Libra is about connection and building bridges, finding new ways to do that, more sustainable ways to do that. So, we're just starting to see a whole new way of supporting one another. It's a paradigm shift, and we're just beginning to see the first glimmers of it. And there's some real excitement around that. So those are some of the themes I wanted to bring you about this full moon. And I would be curious to hear what came up for you around this full moon. So let's move now into Mars and Uranus. We had a square between these two potent forces, Mars being a punch, Uranus being the nervous system, and our electrical system. So a lot of surprises, a lot of sharpness, a lot of edges, a lot of spikiness to our bodies. Our bodies have been fielding a lot, starting over the weekend. And on Sunday, I really felt it. It felt like an eclipse for me. So it meant for me a total drop in physical energy, like scary, really scary. And I had to really call in a lot of my tools to ground myself. And I've been hearing from others of you that you've been feeling some plummets in energy as well. So this could be attributed to Mars and Uranus. And, there may be other variables at work as well. But I just wanted to put that out there, that if you're fielding a lot through your body, please know that you're not alone. And it is part of what we are doing to recalibrate and move into this next place that we're moving into. So wanted to share that with you. Also, unexpected short circuiting, accidents. I saw a friend whose windshield got shattered right at the time where Mars-Uranus square was peaking, which was also right around the full moon. That was also on Tuesday. My daughter fell and hurt herself. She's okay, thankfully, but definitely a lot of unexpected things coming through that are challenging. So keep an eye out for that. And then I want to move into this Scorpio moon, which we have right now, today through tomorrow. Started yesterday around 4 o'clock. And we also have Jupiter, Pluto in the sky. So there are many layers to this signature, which is about big transformation, serious alchemy, a really big cauldron going on right now. And I love tapping into these energies of Pluto. I have a massive amount of Pluto, Scorpio, 8th house in my chart. And there's a lot of that kind of energy available to us right now. And so here are some ways to work with that. So I want to give you 4 journal prompts for those of you who like to journal or simply reflect and meditate on some ideas. So this is bringing Scorpio, Jupiter, Pluto together with the Sun in Aries. So number 1, how are you reinventing yourself? Number 2, how are you wielding your sword? Number 3, how do you use your sexuality? And number 4, what type of renewal are you cultivating? Is it a sexual renewal? Is there some other type of renewal that you're cultivating? So I bring these ideas to you because now is a very powerful time to tend to and heal sexual trauma. We also have Chiron in Aries, bringing forth a lot of old battle wounds. And let's face it, in our collective, a lot of old battle wounds have to do with improper use of force around sexual boundaries. More and more, I find that people are aware of their trauma, our trauma, conscious of our trauma, and getting to a place where many of us are more grounded and can take a more mature approach to healing. And a lot of this has to do with repatterning and starting to really ask instead of take. A lot of wind. So again, asking instead of taking, the idea of consent. And healing parts of our story that happened when there was no consent. This is coming up for me a lot right now. And I also find that there are individuals coming into my field who are able to help me move through this in new ways. And I hope that for you too, that if you are working through some of these old traumas, that you are finding, attracting the support that you need. And so, like I said, it's a really powerful time to tend to this theme of sexual trauma, because in addition to the transits I mentioned, we also have Uranus and Taurus prompting us to awaken the body, both through sensuality and sexuality. So this Taurus-Scorpio polarity. And we're also moving into a time where we are learning how to rely less on others and fulfill our own needs more. So part of this has to do with what I said about breaking patterns around codependency. It's about learning to trust ourselves more deeply, to know ourselves more deeply, to voice our needs more clearly, to have the courage to voice our needs more. And right now, with the sun in Aries and the moon in Scorpio, Aries is the self, Scorpio is sex. Now is a really great time for self-pleasure. So I'll put that out there to add to your self-care toolkit. So, we're alone for a reason, and we're learning how to be alone. Many of us have never been alone, especially those of us with a lot of Libra in us. We've always been called to relationship. And so it's a great time for all of us to develop a deep storehouse of power and knowledge that resides in our own bodies, and to tap into that wisdom. And I'd be curious to hear what's coming up for you around these themes, if you feel like sharing. Always feel free to DM me. So one last segment is the animal totem for this week. It showed up a couple of times in my feed virtually, and then I was sitting out on my front porch last night. It was such a beautiful night last night. Sitting out on my front porch, it's probably around, 8 o'clock, 8:30. So the sun is starting to go down, and a fox walks right in front of my path and just goes straight through my yard. And I have never seen a fox in 5 years in this neighborhood. So it was really cool to see one live. So I went to my handy book by Ted Andrews called Animal Speak. I highly recommend it if you are interested in animal totems. I also work with the animal tarot cards that are associated with that book. I love those as well. So I'm going to read a lot of quotes straight from Ted Andrews. So thank you, Ted Andrews, for this wisdom. So the first thing he does is he talks about, in regards to Fox, the tarot card that is the world. And he says, and I quote, "This relates to the process of creation beginning. It reflects that the world is growing and shape-shifting itself into new patterns that will be beneficial." He goes on to explain that fox is the animal of, quote, "between times and places." Often regarded as sacred, helped the deceased get to heaven, very Scorpio. Associated with sexual energy, kundalini, the freeing of the creative life force. Associated with fertility, able to make sharp turns, accomplished with ease. The ability to insulate and become warm and cozy in themselves. So many repetitions of the themes that we've just covered. They have great stamina. Fox invokes the feminine. They have the ability to move into new dimensions and call upon new resources. They have fine instincts and are well educated in the art of survival. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm excited to tell you that fox energy is amongst us at the moment this week. So that concludes my intimate astrology report for this week. If you would like to do a consult with me, please reach out. If you would like to drop into Sanctuary, please reach out. I hope you are well. Let me know how you're doing. And if this video served you, please share it with your loved ones. Thank you so much. Take care.